Look, we are not in a housing bubble, according to the experts at least. Hey, I'm Scott Neal, the broker of Scott Neal Real Estate in Richardson, Texas, and we help people buy and sell homes all across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Due to the headlines, there is a lot of talk about economic slowdown, and that has caused a lot of homeowners and home purchasers to think that we might be coming upon a crash just like we saw back in 2008, 2009. But is that really what's happening? I think to gain a bigger understanding of what's really going on in the market, let's lean on what some experts have said recently about our current market. One thing to keep in mind is that today's market is nothing like it was in 2008. Look, 2008, 2009 is still fresh on my mind. That's when I became a real estate agent. I cut my teeth on the worst housing crash there has ever been. So I definitely have a little bit of PTSD about what was going on back then. But as Odetta Kushi, the deputy chief economist at First American, says, this is not the same market of 2008. It's no secret the housing market played a central role in the Great Recession, but this market is just fundamentally different in so many ways. And Natalie Campisi, advisor staff for Forbes, explains how today's lending standards are different than those during the lead up to the housing market crash. Quote, among the differences between today's housing market and that of the 2008 housing crash is that lending standards are tighter due to lessons learned and new regulations enacted after the last crisis. Essentially, that means those approved for a mortgage nowadays are less likely to default than those who were approved in the pre-crisis lending period. Hey, I remember exactly what that was like. You know, a friend of mine and myself, we went to a loan officer, a loan broker back in 2006, and we were dumb kids, not making a whole lot of money, and that guy said, hey, no problem. You guys want $1 million loan? No problem. Approved right now today. I can get you $1 million loan. We both looked at each other and said, we don't even know how we would be able to afford that. We have no idea how we would even be able to make the monthly payments. And that loan officer just looked us straight in the face and said, it doesn't really matter, I can get you the loan. That's not happening today. Now, if you want to buy a home and get a mortgage, you have to have full documentation, good credit scores, tax returns have to be legit, your debt to income ratios have to be correct. You know, they go through you with a fine-tooth comb, and it is not a fun process, especially if you've bought a home over the last 10 years. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And another big reason why today is nothing like it was back in 2008 is we have seriously high demand and very, very low supply. Even with rates going up and sales and pending sales ticking off just a little bit over the last 3 to 6 months, we still have a shortage of homes available. And as Realtor.com notes, quote, experts don't believe the market is in a bubble or a crash is in the cards like during the Great Recession. The nation is still suffering from a housing shortage that has reached crisis proportions at a time when many millennials are reaching the age when they start to consider home ownership. That's likely to keep prices high. Now, this is really happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as well. So take a look at this graph right here. This is the monthly year-over-year rate of supply in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. As you can see, from 2012, inventory started to dip down into the hottest markets we had seen before recently, which was 2015 and 2016. Then the market really started to cool off. Inventory went from about 1.5 months worth of inventory and climbed all the way up to 4.5 months worth of inventory. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and inventory crashed, and we've been seeing 15 and 20% rises in the median price over the last 2 years. But we're now starting to see an uptick in inventory, and even with the most recent data that we have for June of 2022, we still only have 2.1 months worth of inventory. And as you can see here, you gotta get to 5-6 months worth of inventory before prices finally stabilize and don't rise anymore. And really you need to get to 7+ months worth of inventory before you start to see prices decline. So the bottom line is you can probably be rest assured that we are not in a bubble and that real estate prices, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, are going to go down anytime soon. In fact, what I think is we have reached a new level of home prices, and these prices now today are here to stay. So if you'd like to know about how the market is going to affect your plans of either selling or buying over the next, say, 6 to 12 months, we'd love to talk with you and consult with you about how we can help you navigate today's market. So just give us a call. Our number is 469-998-3322, or visit us on our website at mydallashomefinder.com. We look forward to working with you soon. So thanks and happy selling.